Good morning, magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. We are going to shift gears, so to say, in our normal content that we do here on My PI Dream. We're not going to be doing DIY today. We're not going to be doing how-to. We're not going to do travel today. But what we're going to talk about today is something a little bit more serious and that everybody is aware of globally during this time period. And it has to do with the COVID-19, otherwise known as the coronavirus, and how it's affecting us here in this portion of the Philippines. So we'll get into that content in just a moment. Now, without further delay, let's get today's video underway. Look at the pineapple. It's actually starting to grow, and we are starting to yield some of the strawberries. From our massive amount of strawberry plants here in the raised bed garden. We'll pick some of these. We'll add them to the morning's breakfast, and we'll talk a little bit about the topic of today, which has to do with the effects of the coronavirus here in our area in Lipa City, in the province of Batangas, on the island of Luzon. So anyway, as you can see over my shoulder, Ness is watching the local news here inside the house. We've been watching the local national news for Philippine news, and we've also been watching the world news, watching the content on U.S. television stations as well. So we're trying to keep a grasp on how this is affecting us all globally. But what I want to talk about today is some of the directives that have come down as a result of national, basically, declarations or policy for the way that the government is going to treat and try to contain and eradicate the coronavirus in the country here. Let me grab my phone, and what I'll do is I'll show you some of the national directives. Now, the first effect that we saw here in the Philippines was targeted at Metro Manila. A few days back, there was some guidance that went out that said any transportation into or out of the city of Metro Manila had to be all work-related. So there was no casual type of transportation back and forth. So they put that into effect. But as of yesterday, there's a new guidance that has to do with basically the entire island of Luzon. As you know, the Philippines is made up of 3 big islands, Luzon being in the north, Visayas being in the middle, and then down to the south, Mindanao. Now, Luzon is the first that I know of that is implementing such strict measures. And let me talk about some of the transportation measures that is currently in effect. And I'll kind of read this off of my phone here. And it says, and it's Department of Transportation. They bear rules under movement under enhanced community quarantine in Luzon. And basically what it says is the Department of Transportation has issued guidelines on the implementation of the enhanced community quarantine and the stringent social distancing measures over Luzon, including the national capital region. And the implementation of the guidelines starts at about 12 a.m. 17 March 2020 until 12 a.m. 13 April 2020. So about 3 weeks. Right around 3 weeks. And let's talk about what these guidelines, what is defining what you can and can't do when it comes to transportation. The guidelines are as follow. 1. MRT-3, LRT-1, LRT-2, and PNR shall suspend its operations of land transport modes such as public utility buses, jeepneys, taxis, transport network vehicle service, FX, UV Express, point-to-point buses, and motorcycle taxis shall be suspended. The DOT, Department of Transportation Aviation Sector, shall let foreigners depart outbound from the Philippines within 72 hours upon effectivity of the enhanced community quarantine. Airport operations shall be limited to outgoing flights carrying foreigners and tourists. Filipinos are not allowed to go outside the country. Inbound flights will be only for repatriating Filipinos. Land, air, and sea travel of uniformed personnel for official business, especially those transporting medical supplies, laboratory specimens related to the COVID-19 and other humanitarian assistance shall be allowed. Only one person per household is allowed to go outside their homes to buy basic necessities. Use of private vehicles for this purpose shall be allowed. And media vehicles and reporters shall be allowed to travel within the community quarantine area provided they secure a special media pass from the PCOO. So that is the basic guidance that we have right now about transportation, getting around in the Philippines. Basically, there's not a lot of transportation unless you need to go and get some groceries. Of course, we all have to eat, so they are not suspending that. But what they're doing is they're minimizing the social contact, what people are talking about, the social distance as well, for going to all these different places. So to minimize any ability for you to spread the virus in the event that you have to go out. According to the directive, these are the places that will be allowed to remain open. And it is public markets, supermarkets, groceries, convenience stores, hospitals, medical clinics, pharmacies and drugstores, food preparation and delivery services, water refilling stations, manufacturing processing plants of basic food products and medicines, banks, money transfer services, power, energy, water, and telecommunication services and facilities. Now let's take a look at what the national directive says on who can go out, who can leave their house. They said the public will only be allowed to leave their homes for essential travel such as purchasing basic necessities. Private cars may be used provided that the trip is only for essential purposes. Banks and other monetary services will be allowed to continue operation. Violators face arrest. Now, something I also want to mention that they are consistently saying, the national government, as directed by President Duterte, that this is not martial law. They want to have the people rest assured that this is not the action that's going on, that this is an action that's being implemented to reduce the spread of the coronavirus among the islands here. Well, I'd like to wrap up today's episode by sharing with you that we have an upcoming trip scheduled, an international trip that's going to fall right into the middle when it looks like they are going to be canceling many of the airline schedules, both on the international and domestic side of the house. Right now, domestic is already shut down, and the international, looks like in the next few days they're going to be shutting that down as well. What we're going to do is we'll present that to you from our experience, for us contacting our booking agent and, if necessary, our airlines, and share with you what our experience is as far as how they are resolving the problem and helping the consumer with rescheduling, canceling, refunds, or whatever. So that should make for an interesting episode. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up, and we'll continue to update as we get more information here inside the Philippines. I hope this information helped you here today. If you did find it helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Please share, and if you have not subscribed, just click on that little MPID dream heart in the bottom right hand side of your screen. You'll be subscribed and you'll be notified the next time we have a new video. So until such time, be safe and have a safe and wonderful day. If you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to see more just like these, just click on one of the helpful links over to your right, and you might be able to pick up on some good information on DIY projects, how to, or if you are interested in moving to the Philippines and building, you'll find answers there as well.